second episode today, and this is in response to a comment I had on one of my videos. And it was somebody who asked, and I might get this wrong because I don't have it in front of me and I just have my phone, so I have to memorize it. In a vacuum, if a vegan diet was just as nutritious as a carnivorous diet, what would give you the moral right to basically kill animals? And so basically, if veganism was as nutritious, well, how do you justify killing animals, basically? And I'm going to answer that, but first of all, I want to say it's not. I don't believe it's nutritious. I do think it's better than, eating a bunch of, wheat and bread and crap. I mean, like the standard American diet, yes, it's better if you do it right. Like, you can be a vegan and eat a bunch of crap and be completely unhealthy. And if you don't supplement, even if you do it right, even if you eat good stuff, you'll still be unhealthy. So you have to supplement. So I don't think it's, one, what we're supposed to eat, and two, I don't think it's as nutritious for people. It's not what we're made to live on. But I understand not wanting to kill animals. I myself am an animal lover. I love being around them. I love pets. I have like a big affinity with dogs and being around animals. I just love it. Nature and everything else. But I think, here's what I think about killing animals. One, I don't like doing it. And I haven't killed animals hunting wise. I want to, but I've had to euthanize several dogs because they were basically had cancer, probably because they're not eating their non-carnivore diet, which is dog food. They're corn-based things. But I think that asking if it's moral is just a humanistic way of doing things. Like, is a dog immoral? Is a lion immoral? Is a cow immoral for eating, plants that don't want to be eaten? That's like, I think that's the thing. Like you're bad if you're a predator. Like if you're human. Like where I've seen. Well, here's a little story. This is a terrible story, but I'm going to tell it because it kind of points some of this. I worked in a nursery, a tree nursery, like plants, ornamental plants, and we balled and burlapped, all the shrubs. It was boxwoods, and in the spring, we'd bed them in with mulch through the winter, and then in the spring you'd have to dig them out and re-wrap them with burlap. So I'm cutting this whole row out with a long, 2-foot tree spade. Needless to say, I sliced right through the middle of a baby bunny nest. It was horrifying. I cut like 3 of them in half. They're screaming. They're running around. I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. It was like a fucking horror movie. It was terrible. Blood everywhere. Screaming little baby bunnies. Mutilated. It was a nightmare. While all this is happening, I'm on this, property that's like a nursery, but it's like, a farm. The dog and the cat that live there perk up, come running over gleefully, and proceed to just mutilate and shake and kill every screaming bunny there is, like with glee. Because there was probably like 8 still alive, and they're just like, the cat and the dog. Like it was the best day of the year for them. And I'm like, no, stop. Like I wanted to save the bunnies, the ones that I hadn't cut in half. And so my point is, I'm the one who had the moral crisis that day. Like, it horrified me. And the dog and the cat were killing them on purpose for fun, and there's no more dilemma there. That's what they're supposed to do. And my point is, everything on this earth, it's a life cycle. It's your predator, your prey. This is a continuation of the question I was answering yesterday. Try to answer it better today and edit in some of the parts I did yesterday. Why morally, why do I think I have the right to kill things if the vegan diet was the same, nutritional wise, which it isn't. But one of the things is like the story with the baby bunnies. We're the only animal that is moral about killing. Other animals, it's just instinct. They have no feelings about it. I mean, if one of their own dies, some do. But otherwise, bears or other animals, carnivores, eat something to death while it's alive. Like they don't care about killing it humanely. They don't care about killing the babies. They don't care about any of that. Like our own dogs and cats will kill just for the fun. And I think in general, humans don't. I mean, there's some psychopaths and some people that probably enjoy it more, but most people, even if they're for killing, aren't for cruelty, aren't for inhumaneness. I think even a lot of meat eaters don't like seeing those videos of animal cruelty and like factory farms and things like that. So I think we are moral about killing. We do it in a way we try to be humane, and cows, for instance, we made them to eat. They're for us to eat, and they can have a good life until the point where they're killed. And everything's going to die anyways. And as far as cows are concerned, they would just go extinct unless, some people have them as pets, which they're not a good pet. Too big, they shit everywhere. So, kill them all. Let them all die fucking diabetes or something, or whatever they die from if they just keep living and eating the grain and stuff. And the other, like an environmental thing about it, like they're not sustainable. I think they are. I think we should have a lot more. I would love to see all these corn and soy fields and wheat fields turned into rangeland. And I mean, back in the day, like the Midwest here and the plains had the best topsoil in the world. And now that doesn't exist anymore because of crops, because of monocrops. The erosion and the pesticides and the herbicides and the Roundup. One way to make this stuff good again, lots of cattle shitting and eating. And there's studies that have shown that, like, they call it mob grazing, basically, actually more grazing, more cows actually helps the environment if you rotate them correctly. You can even bring places that have been desertified back to lush grasslands with cows, ruminants, so like goats, sheep, things too. So from that standpoint, I think it's good for the environment. It's what we were designed to eat. That's what we do best on, I believe. And a lot of people seem to be proving that. And I don't think it's cruel to kill something you eat if you do it humanely. And as far as nature's concerned, I don't think nature gives a shit about morality or humaneness or anything. Animals just kill, and they don't care how it's done, how horrible it is, anything. Animals don't care. Humans are moral about it. So I don't know if that answers it, but that's why I think it's what we were designed to do. Like in that story, we're carnivores. And that's the other point I wanted to make is, and part of the reason, like, you can even ask it if it's moral is because of modern society and the distance you have from food production. I mean, go ask that question in some country where they're starving and they don't have access to all the food in the stores, and that would be immoral. Like, oh, I don't want you to kill that cow even though your family's starving because I think it's I care about the cow more. And everything's going to die. everything dies. And the cow's something we made for us to eat. But it can have a good life. I think cows that live in the pasture can have a good life. And I would like to see, I don't like factory farms. I'd like to see trying to take science going into the profitability and making the sustainability of grass-fed beef better than focusing on grain-fed. Because all it is like they're eating it's like supported by big ag business for the seed industry. If help get rid of some of the profit stuff from that and just make it more about what's best to eat instead of what's the best, cheapest way to make the most profit. And as far as that goes, I think cows have it the best out of all the farm animals. The way they do chickens and pigs, I don't think is good at all. At least cows go to the feedlots in the last part of their life, but they're still outdoors. They still have way more room than like pigs and chickens and turkeys and things like that. So yeah. Oh no, I wanted to finish my point. People are so distanced from it, like, they get chicken McNuggets or they get their food in a plastic wrap. We're so far removed from the farm and things like that. And everything's taken care of us in our society that you can have the attitude about, should we even eat meat? Why should we, I think it's a luxury. It's a first world problem. So I don't know. It's the way things have been done that's the way nature works, is predators and prey. Things eat each other. And it's a harmony because everything makes the other thing. The deer makes the cougar makes the deer, The wolf makes the elk makes the wolf. Things, They exist in symbiosis, basically. That's nature. That's how it was designed, and we're part of that. So, I don't know, that's my feelings on that.